All right, Boston fans, I know you have a lot going on in your life right now with the Patriots playing pretty solid football under rookie quarterback Mac Jones and the Red Sox locked in a thrilling ALCS against the Houston Astros, but Boston Celtics basketball is back, taking on the New York Knicks tonight for their season opener. Going to be a thrilling matchup. We're going to preview it upcoming on today's show, but first, if you want more Celtics news and rumors videos like this one, hit that red subscribe button down below. Let's get to 10,000 subs here on the channel. Welcome into NBA Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Chase Sr. The NBA season is officially here. NBA opening night last night. A couple of really good games between the Brooklyn Nets and the Milwaukee Bucks as the Bucks got their rings. And then we followed that up with Warriors-Lakers, which was also a very intriguing matchup. And tonight from Madison Square Garden, really good matchup in the Eastern Conference between two teams who are trying to vie for a playoff spot this upcoming season, and two different teams on different trajectories. Last year, the Boston Celtics even record at 36-36, whereas the New York Knicks surprised a lot of people by claiming that number 4 seed in the Eastern Conference. You can watch this game on ESPN. It tips off from Madison Square Garden around 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Are the Knicks going to be able to build off of last year? And under first-year head coach Ime Udoka, are the Celtics going to be able to get back to playoff contention? Can't wait for this matchup to get underway. We'll look at the proposed starting lineups and projected starting lineups, some of the key role players in this game, keys to the game as well, and also just give you an outlook for what to expect tonight between the New York Knicks and the Boston Celtics. Your betting matchup, over-under set at 216.5 by Vegas. Knicks, probably because they're at home, -2. So Knicks 2-point favorites going into this game. Do want to get to my storylines, and then later on we'll also hit the injury report as well, as we're hitting you with a jam-packed show on NBA Now. Some of my key storylines at the MECCA tonight for this season opener for both squads. Kemba Walker was traded away by the Boston Celtics and first-year general manager Brad Stevens, which still sounds very weird to say, to the Oklahoma City Thunder. Then he goes to the New York Knicks, and now Kemba back in his home city where he grew up in New York City, obviously had a lot of success at MSG with UConn during his college days, will take on his former team in Boston. It's going to be the debut of Boston Celtics head coach Ime Udoka, hired this offseason to take over for Brad Stevens. Brad Stevens then taking over for Danny Ainge in the front office. And I'm really looking to see if the Knicks, who were very, very busy throughout NBA free agency, are going to be able to capitalize on that momentum that they captured last year, making it to the playoffs as a 4 seed. They did lose to the red-hot Atlanta Hawks in that first-round series, but MSG was lit. The Knicks had a little momentum. Are they going to be able to carry that over into this year with a very talented and deep roster under Tom Thibodeau? Boston looking to get back on track. I'm very confident they'll be able to do that. Ime Udoka, the hire at head coach, was an advocation of Jayson Tatum as well as Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart. Udoka came up under Greg Popovich. He coached those former players in the 2019 World Championship games. They wanted him to be the head man. He gets that opportunity, and I think he has the potential to be a very good coach as well and get the Celtics back on track into the playoffs where they can make another deep run. Before we continue to get started here and preview this game, who you got tonight? Is it the Knicks? Is it the Celtics? Type NYK in the comments section. Type BOS if you have the Celtics. Get your predictions in for tonight's game right now. Projected Knicks starters for tonight. Tom Thibodeau has been consistent throughout the preseason with his starting 5, whereas Ime Udoka, it's a little bit more of a mystery because he hasn't really debuted a firm starting 5, and the Celtics dealing with more injury issues, but this is the projected starting 5 for New York. Kemba Walker, first game in his Knicks debut. Evan Fournier also making his Knicks debut. R.J. Barrett looking to continue what was a marvelous sophomore season last year in which he averaged around 17 points per game, shot around 40% from distance. Can he make another leap from year 2 to year 3? The same can be said for Julius Randle, who was the most improved player in the NBA last year, was seriously emerging late in that campaign as a true MVP candidate. Now, he didn't play well in the playoffs, but I think Julius Randle in store for another monster year. And then the 5 could be a combination of a couple of different guys for Tom Thibodeau. Mitchell Robinson, Taj Gibson, maybe Nerlens Noel get some spot starts here and there, but I'm thinking that Mitchell Robinson going to get the start in the season opener. Key Knicks role players. Really, they're deep, and they were deep last year. I think they're deeper for 2021-2022. Derrick Rose what a story he was last year, really being able to rejuvenate and inject some life into his career after everything that he dealt with. He was excellent last year for the Knicks. Alec Burks at times was the go-to scorer for New York down the stretch in some really big games. Emmanuel Quickley, a pretty promising rookie year out of Kentucky. Can he build on that? Obi Toppin looked as though maybe this guy was a bust as a top 10 pick coming out of Dayton, but he played awesome basketball in the Las Vegas Summer League, played pretty well in the preseason. Can he make that jump and really firmly entrench himself into this Knicks rotation? Nerlens Noel, we know what he can do as a rim-running big who can block shots and throw down some dunks on a little two-man game, picking and rolling to the cup. Projected Celtics starters. As I mentioned a few moments ago, I really don't know which starting five Ime Udoka is going to trot out there. Here's our best swing at it. Hopefully I hit the ball off the tee. Dennis Schroeder, Marcus Smart, Jayson Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Robert Williams. Marcus Smart might play true point guard, which would then relegate Dennis Schroeder to the bench. Now, I think why this could be the starting five is because, as I said earlier, the Celtics dealing with some COVID issues as well as some injury issues too. Josh Richardson could start at the 2 spot with Marcus Smart at the 1, but Dennis Schroeder, Smart, Tatum, and Brown, as well as Robert Williams coming off that big contract extension this summer, I think that's going to be the starting five for Boston. And anytime you have two of the top wings under the age of 25 in the league today in Tatum and Brown, you're in a pretty good spot. That's why I think the Celtics can get back to making a deep run in the playoffs. Key Celtics role players, Romeo Langford, look, former lottery pick. He has to do a lot this year to prove himself to be consistent in that rotation. Josh Richardson comes over to Boston from Dallas in that Kemba Walker trade. Aaron Nesmith, another former lottery pick who has a lot to prove this year. Al Horford coming back to Boston. Is that going to allow him to continue his career after a couple of down years with Philadelphia and OKC? He played really great with Boston for a long time, making it to the playoffs every single year. And then a free agent acquisition, one of the more notable free agent acquisitions for Boston, Enes Kanter. He can man the 4 or the 5, primarily the 5, as he likes to camp around the basket. Doesn't really have a good shooting touch from the outside. The injury report tonight, it's much more lengthy for Boston than it is for New York. Jaylen Brown is active. He is going to give it a go. He's been day-to-day after coming down with COVID. Al Horford is going to be out because of COVID protocols. Him and Brown caught COVID around the same time, but Horford a couple of days later, which is why he is still out and Jaylen Brown is in. Peyton Pritchard, he's going to be the masked man, suffering from a nasal fracture, so he's going to be wearing a mask to protect his nose. And then for the Knicks, really only one player on this injury report. It's Nerlens Noel. He is doubtful for the season opener tonight because of a knee injury. We have a little bit of a competition going on here at Chat Sports. We have 6 NBA team channels right now, including New York Knicks now, as well as Boston Celtics Today. A couple months ago, Celtics Today had a bunch of momentum. We're really a fast-growing channel, and we are continuing to do that. But Knicks now, with 2,600 plus subs, the fastest-growing Knicks channel out on YouTube right now is trying to catch Boston Celtics Today. So if you're a Boston fan, smash that subscribe button down below. If you're a Knicks fan, smash that subscribe button down below. It's youtube.com/KnicksTV, youtube.com/Celtics TV. Good job by producer Marshall Green for filtering through those links. The NBA season is officially here. We got a good matchup on opening night, folks. Celtics, Knicks, MSG, the Mecca. We appreciate you for tuning in.